You chose this.
What's going on, Aurora Alliance, and welcome back to a brand new Star Wars Battlefront 2 speculation video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about some heroes that the community want in Star Wars Battlefront 2. These heroes are by no means confirmed heroes in the game, and these heroes are just taken from the Star Wars movies, so that's episodes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I haven't looked at Star Wars Rebels or Star Wars The Clone Wars, because I'm not sure if EA or DICE will actually be looking at those two animated series and choosing characters from there to put into the Star Wars Battlefront 2 game. To start off with, we may as well go for the heroes rather than the villains, and one of the heroes I think should be in Star Wars Battlefront 2, along with many other Star Wars Battlefront 2 fans, is ObiWan Kenobi. Now, ObiWan Kenobi is a great character in the Star Wars universe and has been used in multiple films as well as animated series. A lot of people think that Obi-Wan should have actually been included in the current Star Wars Battlefront as a DLC hero, considering the role he played in Star Wars Episode 4 A New Hope. Of course, he would have been a character that had similar abilities and attacks, defenses, etc. as Luke Skywalker in the game, but it definitely would have been cool to see the Jedi Master feature in EA's first Star Wars Battlefront. Because the prequel eras are in Star Wars Battlefront 2, I do hope to see Obi-Wan in it at some point, but we will just have to wait and see. Then I chose Anakin Skywalker. I mean, if you're going to have Obi-Wan, then you kind of have to have Anakin. A lot of people are arguing that Anakin Skywalker could actually just be a customization option for Darth Vader in the game, but I think he should actually be given his own character on the light side or the hero's side. My thinking for this was because Anakin Skywalker was actually a good guy. When he was used on the dark side or the villain side, he was actually classed as Darth Vader even before he was chopped up and burnt in lava and put in the suit. Emperor Palpatine or Darth Sidious did actually class Anakin as Darth Vader when he turned to the dark side of the Force. So, in my opinion, if Anakin is in the game, he should be on the hero's side rather than the villain side, and be his own unique character rather than just a customizable skin for Darth Vader. Next up, I chose a lot of people's favourite, Mace Windu. Now, Mace Windu would make a great addition to the game, but he would have similar abilities, I imagine, to Anakin and Obi-Wan. I'm not sure if EA DICE are going to stick to one lightsaber character or just one or two lightsaber characters per era, but it would be cool to see a lot of Jedi feature in the prequel era in Star Wars Battlefront 2, considering how many good heroes there are to actually choose from. I definitely think Mace Windu should be given a shot in Star Wars Battlefront 2, at least as a DLC hero, whether that's free or paid or however they're going to do it, I don't know, but I would love to see Mace Windu feature in the game for the heroes. Next, I have a sort of least popular choice of Padme. I think if you have Obi-Wan and Anakin, you kind of need Padme as they are the three main characters in the prequel films. The relationship between Anakin and Padme is heavily focused on throughout the prequel films, and with Obi-Wan being there as Anakin's master and Padme's friend in a way, it would make sense in that way to have Padme in the game. I think Padme could have some really cool abilities depending on how she is actually used, whether she uses her Naboo pistol or whether she uses the droid blaster that she picks up in Attack of the Clones. She could have really cool customization options, the same as Leia could have in the current Star Wars Battlefront, but whether or not DICE or EA choose to put hero customization skins in the game, we do not know, but I still would like to see Padme in there, and she would also be a blaster wielding hero rather than having all lightsaber wielding heroes. Next up is Finn. I think Finn would be a great choice considering Rey's already in the game. I think having Finn as a sort of ex-stormtrooper in the game would make a great dynamic and could make for a cool ability. A lot of people think that Finn should have some sort of traitor ability which allows him to see enemy positions on the map in Star Wars Battlefront 2, which I think is a really cool idea, and it would be interesting to see how Finn is going to develop as a character in The Last Jedi. So maybe they could take some abilities from The Last Jedi and put it into Star Wars Battlefront 2 for Finn. The final hero I chose was Poe Dameron. I think Poe could be more of a sort of vehicle hero with his X-Wing and him being the greatest pilot in the Resistance. I think he would make a cool addition into Star Wars Battlefront 2. Maybe in more of a vehicle sense than in an actual hero sense, because we don't really see him on the ground at all, really, in The Force Awakens. Or when he is on the ground, he gets captured by Kylo Ren and then goes to a TIE fighter to get it and escape. So whether or not they choose to use him as a vehicle hero in the skies for fighter squadron type game modes, or on the ground, I don't know. For me, he's definitely more of a hero vehicle type character than an on-the-ground soldier. For the villain side, I have chosen a lot of fan-requested villains for Star Wars Battlefront 2, and we're going to start with Count Dooku. I think Count Dooku could be a great hero or villain in Star Wars Battlefront 2. He would obviously have his Force Lightning and his lightsaber, and he has quite a strong role in the prequel trilogy as well as the Clone Wars in general, so to have the prequels and the Clone Wars in Star Wars Battlefront 2 and leave out one of the main characters in the Clone Wars and the prequel trilogy doesn't really make much sense. Count Dooku was there for all movies. Fair dues, in Revenge of the Sith he got his head cut off, but he could still be a great character. Next we have Darth Sidious. Now I think Sidious would be a great character. We haven't seen him in the EA Battlefronts yet with his lightsaber, but to be fair we don't really see him in the prequel movies until Revenge of the Sith where he uses his lightsaber for a little bit. I would love to see Sidious in there with a lightsaber and in the prequel era, but I think they might actually just keep Sidious or Emperor Palpatine for the original trilogy era where he will use Force Lightning in a similar way to how he uses it and his character in the current Star Wars Battlefront. But we'll have to wait and see. A lot of people want Sidious with a lightsaber in the prequel era, but also a lot of people aren't really too bothered. They would prefer to have other characters. Speaking of other characters, I have chosen Jango Fett. Now there's a lot of sort of debate of whether or not Jango Fett should be in Star Wars Battlefront 2, considering he will be a pretty similar character to Boba Fett. But then if you're going to think like that, then you will think that all of the lightsaber characters will be pretty similar, so you can't have them all, you can only have one or two to keep the game a bit sort of diverse. But Jango Fett was a great character, and his abilities and his blaster wielding would make for a great hero in Star Wars Battlefront 2, especially in the prequel era, and it would also give that Boba Fett equivalent in the prequel era, because there aren't that many blaster wielding heroes in the prequel trilogy. There are in the Clone Wars, but like I said, I'm not going to go into the Clone Wars too much. Speaking of Clone Wars again, I thought we could have General Grievous. Now General Grievous is a highly requested character for Star Wars Battlefront 2. Everybody seems to love him, and I think the fact that he wields 4 lightsabers is definitely one of the main reasons why people think he would make a great addition to Star Wars Battlefront 2. I would love to see how their abilities are going to work and his animations for Star Wars Battlefront 2. It could be unreal, it could be one of the best heroes in the game, but we will have to wait and see if he is going to feature or not. There has been no confirmation at the moment. There hasn't been much content shown of the Clone Wars yet, just a bit of concept art and the fact that Maul and Yoda are in there on Naboo. So we will have to wait and see, but Grievous is one of the heroes that I really want to be in Star Wars Battlefront 2, but whether he is or not is just another question. Next up, I have chose Grand Moff Tarkin. Again, a lot of people thought he should have been in the current Star Wars Battlefront because he played such a key role in the original trilogy. However, you don't really see him using a blaster or doing much action-wise or attacking-wise in the movies. So EA DICE might think, well, how can we put him in when he hasn't really done anything? But in the current Star Wars Battlefront, they put Greedo in, and Greedo was in for all of about 10 minutes max, so they kind of don't have any excuse not to use Tarkin, but I'm not really sure they will. I think they will stick to a lot of heroes that are in the current Star Wars Battlefront as to what they will use in the original trilogy section of Star Wars Battlefront 2, but I would like to see Tarkin in the game. I think he would be a great character, I'd like to see what his abilities would be, so it's going to be a shame if he doesn't feature in the next Battlefront. The final character I have chosen for the villain side in Star Wars Battlefront 2, who I would like to see, is Captain Phasma. A lot of people think Captain Phasma is actually overrated, but I think she is severely underrated. We haven't seen much of her yet, and I think her character could really grow in Star Wars The Last Jedi. We do see in The Last Jedi trailer that she returns with quite a bit of a bang. She's walking through flames, and it looks like she's just blown up poor Dameron's X-Wing, so she could really mean business, which means she could be a great asset in Star Wars Battlefront 2 for the villain side if EA DICE use some of her abilities that might be in The Last Jedi in Star Wars Battlefront 2, but I'm not sure if they will. A lot of people's requests for heroes from the sequel trilogy are already in the game, because Kylo Ren was a big character. A lot of people loved him, a lot of people hated him, but I think more people wanted to see Kylo Ren in Star Wars Battlefront 2 than Captain Phasma. For me, I love Kylo Ren, but I would like to see Phasma in the game. Let me know down in the comment section below who you would like to see in Star Wars Battlefront 2 as a hero, and who do you think they should completely avoid. I know a lot of people are probably going to say Jar Jar Binks because nobody really likes Jar Jar Binks, but you know, that's going to happen. Make sure to smash a like on this video if you have enjoyed it, and if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe to join the Aurora Alliance and be kept up to date with all things Star Wars gaming, especially Star Wars Battlefront 2. Other than that, may the Force be with you.